There is a place on Earth that breathes. From above, it looks like a paradise, an endless ocean of green. But for centuries, explorers called it by a different name. They called it the Green Hell. In this place, everything is designed to kill you. The heat, the insects, the predators that stalk in the water and in the trees. But the most dangerous thing in the Amazon isn't the jaguar or the anaconda. It is the obsession. In 1925, the most famous explorer in the world walked into this forest. His name was Colonel Percy Fawcett. He was the man who inspired the character of Indiana Jones. He was invincible. He had survived bullets in World War I and arrows in the jungle. He told the world he was on the verge of the greatest archaeological discovery in human history, a lost civilization hidden deep in the unexplored map of Brazil. He called it simply Zed. He walked into the tree line with his son and his best friend. They waved goodbye, and then the jungle simply closed behind them. For 100 years, we have asked, what happened to Percy Fawcett? Was he murdered by tribes? Did he starve? Or did he find his golden city and decide never to return? But recent technology has revealed something even more terrifying, something that changes everything we thought we knew about history. Fawcett was right. The city is there. We just didn't know how to look for it. Welcome to the search for the lost city of Zed. To understand the mystery, you must understand the man. Percy Fawcett was not a dreamer. He was a soldier, a surveyor, a man of cold, hard facts. In the early 20th century, the map of South America was mostly blank. It was labeled Terra Incognita. The Royal Geographical Society in London sent Fawcett to fill in the blanks. He spent years in the jungle. He mapped the borders of Bolivia and Brazil. He survived things that would break ordinary men. He contracted malaria and kept walking. He was bitten by maggots that burrowed into his flesh, and he cut them out with a knife. He was known as the man who could not die. The indigenous tribes respected him because he was fearless. He didn't shoot first, he brought gifts. He learned their languages. But during his expeditions, Fawcett began to see things that didn't fit the official history books. The scientific consensus at the time was clear. The Amazon was a counterfeit paradise. The soil was too poor to support agriculture. Therefore, no advanced civilization could ever exist there. Only small, primitive tribes. Fawcett disagreed. Deep in the jungle, he found shards of ancient, high-quality pottery. He found roads that were too straight to be natural. He heard legends from the elders about cities that glittered and white Indians who built massive stone towers. He became convinced that a massive, complex civilization, older than Egypt, richer than the Incas, was hiding in the Mato Grosso region of Brazil. And then, in 1920, he found the proof he needed. In the dusty archives of the National Library in Rio de Janeiro, Fawcett uncovered a document that had been forgotten for 150 years. It was known as Manuscript 512. It was written by a Portuguese bandeirante, a fortune hunter, in 1753. The document described a group of explorers who were lost in the interior. They climbed a mountain range and saw, in the valley below, a massive stone city. The manuscript described wide paved streets, stone arches, statues with hieroglyphs that looked like Greek or Roman letters. The explorers entered the city, but it was empty, abandoned. It had been destroyed by an earthquake or a plague. They found a gold coin with the image of a kneeling man. For Fawcett, this was not a myth. This was a roadmap. He believed this city was the remnant of Atlantis, or perhaps a colony of Phoenician sailors who crossed the Atlantic thousands of years ago. He named it Zed. It was the ultimate secret. He kept the coordinates to himself, terrified that other explorers would beat him to it, or that a rescue party would die trying to save him. He famously said, "If with all my experience I fail, there is no hope for others. That is one reason why I tell not exactly where we go." He was preparing for his final journey, a journey of no return. It was 1925. Fawcett was 57 years old. This was his last chance. He didn't take an army. He didn't take a massive crew. He believed large expeditions were doomed to fail. They were too slow, and they scared the tribes. He took only 2 people. His eldest son, Jack Fawcett, a strong, athletic young man of 21, and Jack's best friend, Raleigh Rimmel. They packed light. machetes, canned food, guns, and a ukulele. The press called it the most dangerous expedition in history. The world was watching. On May 29, 1925, Fawcett sent his final dispatch from a place called Dead Horse Camp. He wrote to his wife, Nina, "You need have no fear of any failure." He sent the native guides back with the letter. He wanted to go further alone, into the unknown territory of the Kalapalo people. The three men stood at the edge of the known world. They turned their backs on civilization, and they walked into the green wall. That was the last time anyone ever heard from them. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. Nina Fawcett sat by her radio in England, waiting for a signal that never came. In 1927, the Royal Geographical Society declared them lost, but the world refused to accept it. How could the man who could not die simply vanish? The disappearance of Percy Fawcett sparked a madness that lasted for decades. It became known as Fawcett fever. Over the next 70 years, more than 100 rescue expeditions were launched into the Amazon. Thousands of people went looking for him. Bankers, teachers, soldiers. Many of them never came back either. Some were killed by jaguars. Some died of starvation. Some were killed by hostile tribes who were tired of white men trespassing on their land. It is estimated that over 100 people died trying to find one man. Rumors began to spread. Some said Fawcett had found the city and became its king. Some said he had lost his memory and was living as a chief of a cannibal tribe. In the 1950s, bones were found. The world gasped. Was this Fawcett? Forensic analysis later proved they were not him. The mystery deepened. Did the Kalapalo tribe kill him? Decades later, elders of the tribe admitted they had met Fawcett. They said he was aggressive. He refused to give gifts. He insisted on marching into the territory of the Fierce Ones, a neighboring tribe that killed intruders on sight. The Kalapalo said they saw the campfire of the three Englishmen go out on the fifth night, and then silence. For 50 years, historians concluded that Fawcett was a fool, a romantic dreamer who chased a fairy tale and dragged his son to his death. They said City Z never existed, that the Amazon could never support a city. They were wrong. In the early 2000s, an anthropologist named Michael Heckenberger began working with the Kuikuro people in the Xingu region, the exact area where Fawcett disappeared. He wasn't looking for gold, he was looking at the ground. He noticed that the landscape was not natural. There were mounds, ditches. He began to map them using GPS and satellite imagery, and what he found shocked the scientific world. He didn't find stone pyramids, he found something arguably more impressive. He found a grid, a massive network of ancient settlements connected by wide, straight roads. Roads that were 60 feet wide, the size of a modern highway. He found defensive moats and plazas aligned to the stars. This was not a small village, this was a complex, urban civilization that housed up to 50,000 people. It is now known as the Kuhikugu complex. But where was the stone? Why didn't Fawcett see the towers? Because they didn't build with stone. They built with earth and wood. The jungle had swallowed the structures, but the footprint remained. And then, scientists found the black gold. Terra preta. It is a type of soil, dark, rich, and incredibly fertile. It is not natural. It was engineered by humans thousands of years ago. They mixed charcoal, pottery, and organic matter to transform the poor Amazonian soil into farmland. Fawcett was right about the civilization. He was right about the location. He was just wrong about what it looked like. He was looking for a European-style city of stone, while he was walking right on top of a masterpiece of jungle engineering. Percy Fawcett walked into the jungle looking for a fantasy. He was looking for Atlantis. He paid the ultimate price for his obsession, and sadly, he took his son with him. For decades, we laughed at him. We called him a madman. But today, thanks to LiDAR technology, we are stripping away the canopy of the Amazon, and we are finding circles, squares, pyramids of earth, cities that span for miles. The Amazon was not a green hell. It was a garden, a home to millions of people who were wiped out by European diseases before we ever met them. Fawcett's City of Zed was real. It was all around him. He likely died standing in the ruins of the very thing he spent his life searching for. He remains there today, somewhere in the deep, green silence, unfound. But finally, vindicated.